What's going on, everyone? It's time for another horror film review. Today, we're actually going to be talking about the last film in the Wrong Turn franchise. Today, we're going to talk about Wrong Turn 2021, or as it's also released as Wrong Turn: The Foundation in some spots. So, it was released by Constantine Films sometime in 2021, and it stars Charlotte Vega, Matthew Modine, produced by Robert Calzer and James Harris, and it's written by Alan McElroy, who actually wrote the first Wrong Turn, and directed by Mike P. Nelson, who did films like The Domestics, which I actually seen that. That's actually a good one. I haven't reviewed it yet, though. VHS 85, I'm pretty sure I reviewed that one. No Wake and Summer School, which I'm pretty sure I have a review for that on here, too. This had a budget of $4 million, so this new Wrong Turn is a little different than the others. It's not about cannibalistic hillbillies and stuff. Instead, a group of friends go on a hiking trip through the mountains in, like, I don't know where, West Virginia, Montana, somewhere like that. And basically, they go and they end up getting lost, and some of them die, and they end up being like hunted, basically, and some of them get held captive by this mountain men who basically have more ruthless and darker desires to do with them than what they would have imagined. And it's a fight for survival. But also, at the same time, one of the girl's fathers is actually looking for her because they've been gone for a month. And he comes and learns more about the mountain men and goes and tries to save his daughter at the same time. Overall, this is a good, like, horror survival type of film. It's not going to be for everyone, but for me, I thought this movie was pretty awesome, to be honest. I was very impressed with it. The cinematography is really well done, and the acting is actually really good in this, and the practical effects are amazing. It's so realistic, so good. Even when they stage like a head getting beat in and stuff like that, it just looks so real and so good on film. It's just, oh, how they did it was so well done. It just, the way the colors and everything work on film and stuff, it looks so well done. And yeah, I couldn't get enough of that. Even the music is really good. It complements the film really well. And it really helps build the tension when it's needed. And it helps drives the story when it's needed. And it's there. Sometimes you won't notice it, but it's there. And it helps move the story. It does what it's supposed to. Overall, the characters in this are pretty well developed too. There's some pretty good ones, some ones you really get behind. And there's going to be some that you absolutely hate. And the way some of them, some like the mountain men and stuff, they kind of leave it more ambiguous and like don't really tell you much about them, so you can leave it for your own interpretation, which is fine. But sometimes I kind of wanted a little more story maybe for it. But other than that, the characters are actually pretty well developed in this as well. And the story itself is actually pretty cool. It's pretty neat. It's a good balance of horror, like survival, with a little bit of horror. There's some really creepy scenes in this, and some really well staged, like, cinematic art type scenes in this. Like, the mountain men sort of wear like skulls and stuff Vikings would wear, and then they have like flames shooting up behind them, and it just looks like Northman and stuff, which I absolutely love that movie. So this one really looks well done too. Now, if you're going in for this for like cannibals and stuff like that, there's not much of that in this. This one's actually has a little more realistic approach to it, and yeah, which is really interesting because there's actually probably people like this out there and have been doing things like this, which might explain why missing people are there. If you actually put your mind to it and get lost in the rabbit hole, that could be something that you might find interesting or disturbing. But overall, then the story itself has like 5 or 6 twists in it, so it never goes the way you want it to. And there's a couple parts where I was just like, oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. And sure enough, they won't do it right away, but they slowly sneak it in. And it's just like, oh, yeah, it was quite the thrill ride. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's not scary by any means, or there's some pretty dark, disturbing stuff in it. But for what it is, it's still a fun horror thriller. And I like it probably as much as the original. Like, they definitely did the cannibalistic cousins and stuff to death. So this is definitely a good refresh. And yeah, you should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm not sure where it's streaming or anything, so I'll link the trailer down below so you at least see that. And also, the one good thing about this trailer is they only show you pretty much everything in the first 20 minutes, not the rest of the hour and a half of the rest of the movie. So it doesn't really spoil much, in my opinion. So yeah, so definitely check it out. See if that it might be something you're interested in. But yeah, I'm going to give Wrong Turn, or also known as Wrong Turn, The Foundation, a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this movie, and I wish they keep making movies. I hope they keep making movies like this. I really like the setting and atmosphere of this, and yeah, it's sort of like Northman-ish with a little bit more like Pathfinder type of fighting and stuff. Cool stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, but also make sure you check out my Instagram. It's linked down below. It's where I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I usually put the film title in there, and I am some fun factor history thing in there as well. Also, my letterbox down below at derekpreviews. That's where I post my first star rating where I have to watch some films, and my Twitter's down below at reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms. Same with this channel. Like this video, share it so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any films or film franchises in any genre and on any streaming service that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And let me know what your favorite Wrong Turn film is down below if you have one. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Hope you find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. And also so you hear my opinions on popular films. I've come out classic films and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because, well, it's December 2nd, and well, it's not a Christmas movie I'm going to do yet. I'm saving those for a little later. So we're going to do another creature feature horror thriller called The Beast Within, the 2024 one, not the 80s one. That one's later. But yeah, I heard bad things about it, but I'll be the judge of that. So make sure you tune in for that. Watch out for all those crazy mountain men taking our kids and enslaving them and all that other fun stuff. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.